Okay, and welcome to week 3 phonics review. Okay, today we're going to learn another 7 letters, but we're also going to learn how to read larger words. Today, 3-letter words. It's a little bit tricky, so why don't we go through the basics to begin with. In English, reading words is really easy. You just line up the pronunciation. Okay, so the sound of the first letter and the sound of the second letter and the sound of the third letter, you just put those together to read the word. But the sound of the first letter is controlled by the second letter. Okay, so in this example, the vowel is the most important letter. So to know how to pronounce the first letter, we first have to look at the second letter. Okay, so first we look at the second letter, ah. Okay, and then continue to the right, og. Now we go all the way back to the beginning, and we know that the d sound is going to sound like da. Okay, d plus o is going to sound like da. So we go ah, og, dog. At the beginning, when you're learning to read English words, make sure that you first look at the vowel, the a, e, I, a sounds. Okay, those sounds are going to show how to read the first letter. Okay, let's look at another example. Okay, so we start with I, and then we continue to the right, it. Now we go back to the beginning, and we know the s sound is going to sound like si. The s plus I together, s, si. So we know how to read the word. I, it, sit. Okay, so we start at the vowel, I, we go to the right, it, and then go back to the beginning, and we know the s sound is going to sound like si. So it will be I, it, sit. Okay, so once you get used to it, it's really easy. The problem with starting with the first letter is you don't know how it's supposed to sound. Is it going to be sa, se, si, sa, sa? Okay, it's the second letter, the vowel, that controls how it sounds. Okay, so that's the basic on how to read 3-letter words. Let's go ahead and give it some practice. Our first letter today is B. Now B sounds like b. Okay, so it's hard to say by itself because it just stops. Okay, b. But we put it together with a vowel sound, and it sounds like ob, ob. And we make it a 3-letter word. We start from the middle, ah, ob. Go back to the beginning, sob. Ah, ob, sob. Okay, let's move to our next letter, which is D. The sound of D is d, d. If we put it together with a vowel, it sounds like add, add. And make it a 3-letter word. It goes a, add, dad. A, add, dad. Okay, our next letter is G. We read G like this. G, g, g. Again, it's just a stop. Okay, if we put it together with a vowel, it sounds like egg, egg. Be careful, it's not egg, it's egg. Just stop. Egg. Okay, and a 3-letter word, again we start from the middle, egg, go back to the beginning, beg, egg, beg. Great. Our next letter is F. We read F like this. Notice how I'm biting my lower lip with my teeth. If you don't do that, you can't get the pronunciation correct. F. With a vowel, it sounds like if. And as a three-letter word, I, if, miff. I, if, go back to the beginning, miff. Very good. Our next letter is L. L. Now, L does not occur in Japanese. Okay, we don't have this sound in Japanese, but the sound is easy to make. The sound of L is L. L. To make this sound, you put your tongue on the back of your front teeth. L. L. Very easy. If you put your tongue in the correct place, no problems at all. Okay, if we add a vowel, it sounds like ul. Ul. And to make it a three-letter word, again, we start in the middle. Ul. Go back to the beginning. Dull. Ul, dull. Okay. Next, we have Z. We read Z, Z, Z. Easy. If we add a vowel, we read it Oz. Oz. And if we make it a three-letter word, we start from the middle. Oz, Noz. One more time. Oz, Noz. Okay, and our last letter today is C. Now C has the same sound as the K we learned last week. K, k. If we put it together with a vowel, it sounds like ack, ack. And to make a three-letter word, we begin in the middle, ack, and lack. One more time, ack, lack. Now, of course, when you get more used to reading English words, you won't have to go through the step-by-step like we've been doing today. You'll be able to look at a word and figure it out in your head. But at the beginning, it's really important to sound it out, starting with the vowel sound. Okay, so go ahead and spend this week practicing these 7 sounds, and next week we will pick up the last of the English letters. Bye! Okay, next on our program we have Puppet Theater. Mom, may I have some money? What for? I want to buy a comic book. How much is it? 300 yen. All right, but you have to clean up your room. Okay. Let's watch it again. Mom, may I have some money? What for? I want to buy a comic book. How much is it? 300 yen. All right, but you have to clean up your room. Okay. This time you take the part of Mom. Mom, may I have some money? I want to buy a comic book. 300 yen. Okay. Let's try it one more time with no hints. Mom, may I have some money? I want to buy a comic book. 300 yen. Okay. This time you take the part of Jenny. What for? How much is it? All right, but you have to clean up your room. Let's try it one more time with no hints. What for? How much is it? All right, but you have to clean up your room. Okay, and to finish up today's activities, we have sentence diagramming. Okay, welcome to Hiatus lesson green level, sentence diagramming, week 3. Sentence diagramming may be a bit advanced for elementary school students, but it's an excellent way to understand how English is constructed. Today, we're going to continue where we left off last week. Remember, every word in an English sentence is like a tool in a toolbox. Each word serves a purpose. Sentence diagramming helps you understand the purpose of each word in the sentence. This week, we're going to look at modifiers. Modifiers are words that add meaning to the nouns and verbs we've been looking at. English has 3 kinds of modifiers. First, we have articles, and the. Tells us we are talking about one item. It is not specific. The tells us which item we mean. It is specific. Next, we have adjectives, keiyoshi. Adjectives give us more information about nouns. What kind of chair? A new chair. What kind of hat? A green hat. Finally, we have adverbs, fukushi. Adverbs give us more information about verbs. Remember, verbs are action words. Adverbs tell us how the action takes place. How did he walk? He walked slowly. Adverbs can also give us more information about adjectives or adverbs. The dinosaur is big. How big? Very big. Cows ate the grass. In this sentence, we have an article, the. This tells us which grass the cows ate. So this could mean the cows ate all the grass, or the cows ate the grass we were talking about. It doesn't mean the cows ate just any grass. It is specific. Let's diagram the sentence. First, you draw a line. On the left side, you write the subject, cows. After the subject, you draw a vertical line. Following the vertical line, you write the verb, ate. Then you draw a short vertical line. Following the short vertical line, you write the object, grass. Then draw a diagonal line under the word the article modifies. Finally, you write the article on the diagonal line under the word it modifies. The tells us which grass, so it goes under grass. That's it. That's how you diagram a sentence with articles. Here's another example using articles. In this sentence, we have only one cow that ate the grass. Which cow is not important. It's not specific. There must be more than one cow, but only one ate the grass. If we had only one cow, then it would be specific, and we would have to say, the cow ate the grass. Next, let's look at a sentence with an adjective. First, you have to identify the subject and verb. What is the subject? What is the verb? Okay, girl is the subject and sneezed is the verb. We had diagrammed these like we learned last week. We have an article that tells us which girl sneezed. The. Our adjective tells us more about the girl. She is sick. We had diagrammed this adjective just like the article. Write it on a diagonal line under the word it modifies. Now we know which girl we were talking about. Either the only girl here or the only sick girl. Finally, let's look at a sentence with an adverb. First, identify the subject, verb, and in this sentence, the object. Diagram the subject, verb, and object like we did last week. Mary is the subject, answered is the verb, and question is the object. The question is what Mary answered. Again, we have an article, the. This tells us that we are talking about just one question. It is specific. Then we write the adverb on a diagonal line under the word it modifies. In this sentence, it modifies the verb. How did Mary answer the question? She answered it correctly. Okay, so that is how to diagram sentences with modifiers. I'm going to give you 5 sentences to practice diagramming. Take out your notebook and a pencil and diagram these sentences in your notebook. Pause the video until you're finished. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. And number 5. All right, how did you do? It's pretty simple, right? Let's check our answers. In this sentence, light is the subject and flashed is the verb. We also have an article and an adjective. Both of those modify the subject, so they go under light. Number 2. In this sentence, glass is the subject and breaks is the verb. We also have an adverb. The adverb modifies the verb. The adverb modifies the verb. It tells us how the glass breaks, so it goes under the verb. Here's a hint for you. Many adverbs that modify verbs end in ly. Not all of them, But if you see a word ending in ly, it might be an adverb. In sentence 3, we have a subject, a verb, an indirect object, and a direct object. We learned how to diagram this last week. We also have an adjective. Which word does the adjective modify? The adjective to tells us how many presents, so it modifies the direct object. In English, adjectives come directly in front of the word they modify. In number 4, we have a question. You've learned this before. We still have often. Is it an adjective or an adverb? Often is an adverb. It tells us about the action. How often do you watch movies? This is an example of an adverb that doesn't end in ly. Okay, number 5 is tricky. The subject, verb, and object are easy. That leaves us with 3 words: the, very, and well. Are they adverbs? Adjectives? What do they modify? The article the tells us about the piano. That's easy. Well tells us about the action. How does Ed play the piano? He plays well. But we still have very. What is it? What is it? Where does it go? Well, at the beginning when I introduced adverbs, I said adverbs can modify verbs, but also adjectives and adverbs. In this sentence, very modifies the adverb well. It tells us how well Ed plays the piano. This is how you diagram an adverb that modifies an adjective or adverb. Okay, that is the end of this week's sentence diagramming lesson. Next week, our lesson is going to be a bit easier, and we deal with the be verb. Okay, folks, that is the end of Hiatus lesson Green Level Week 3. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care of yourselves, keep safe, and we will see you next Friday. Bye-bye.